Barnhill Arena, built in 1957. This will be the largest crowd in its history today for 1 against 2. And you know, at UNLV, there is an unspoken awareness that this team is flirting with history. It has a chance to go down as one of the greatest teams of all time. They have absolutely swept through the season in 19 games at a record-setting pace. A record-setting pace by average margin of victory, topping a UCLA figure from back in the early 70s. Their largest deficit at any time was 4 points, and they have led in 98% of the time played. Billy Packer at last. We've got UNLV in Arkansas. Your thoughts on this game?
Well, Jim, as everybody knows, we did not have an undefeated team in the 80s. Vegas has an opportunity to do that. But in my opinion, this game today will be their toughest test of the year, including any game they play in the NCAA tournament, because they have to play a great club on their home court.
Let's talk about some of the players that we'll be keying in on. Of course, the two seniors who came back for Coach Tarkanian, Stacey Augmon and Larry Johnson.
A tremendous testimony to their love and devotion for their coach and the program. You can see the stats there offensively, but the key to these two guys, even more than that, tremendous leadership and great defensive intensity.
While these seniors lead the Running Rebels, a pair of juniors for Arkansas, Lee Mayberry and Todd Day.
Two members of our national team last summer, very talented. Mayberry with a great assist-turnover ratio. Day, as Jerry Tarkanian pointed out, one of the real gifted forwards in the country.
Well, Florida State has played both of these teams, so we asked Pat Kennedy, the coach of the Seminoles, to give us a scouting report for UNLV in Arkansas.
There's going to be some key differences in the game. I think that the Barnhill Arena will give Arkansas about 8 or 10 points as the game continues on. That helter-skelter type defense gets the crowd into it, and it's a great place to play. However, I think the half-court defensive discipline of UNLV will win over the 94-foot pressing type defense that Arkansas plays. Every game is won with defense in the backboards. I think UNLV will control the backboards and beat them inside ultimately as the game progresses.
All right, Billy, let's go through your game analysis. The Packer points, starting out with Mayday.
Well, Mayday, we're talking about Todd Day, who is a prolific scorer, and he has been great in big games. He's got to do it today as well, but he's being guarded by Stacey Augmon. Could be tough.
Alive at 2 for 5.
What I'm talking about there is Anderson Hunt from the outside and Greg Anthony. When they shoot better than 2 for 5 from the outside, it extends the defense, makes Vegas impossible to beat.
Explain for us KO versus 10 to give.
Well, Oliver Miller cannot afford to be in foul trouble because Vegas has 10 fouls to give at that position. It'll be tough for them if Miller's in trouble.
And the Razor's edge.
Well, as Pat Kennedy said, they have an edge in home court advantage, particularly if they get behind. But I really think the edge may be an internal one on the part of Vegas. They know that they're destined for greatness, but greatness can be taken away from them if they lose even one basketball game. So that pressure is going to mount. How do they handle it today will be a key.
All right, Billy, as we near the starting lineups in the tip-off, let's get some last-minute details from Leslie Visser. Leslie.
Jim, as you know, it's a short list of undefeated teams in the history of college basketball. There are 7 of them. UNLV would like to become the 8th. This should be their toughest test all year until the tournament. As you've noted, they haven't been pushed for 40 minutes. They haven't even had to make a free throw that counted all year. Well, today what they want to do is extend Arkansas 22, 23 feet, force them to attack the basket. On another note, UNLV was one of the first schools this year to honor the troops in the Gulf by wearing a flag patch on their uniforms. Today, they'll add another patch to honor the pilots, the Air Force pilots, of the stealth bombers who are based in Las Vegas. It'll be a patch on their hip. We'll be seeing it today. By the way, this game will be tape delayed and shown to the troops in the Gulf 6 hours later. Let's go up to Pat O'Brien.
All right, Leslie, thank you. Won't be long now. We're going to introduce the players when we come back. You're watching The Road to the Final Four here on CBS.
CBS Sports coverage of the Road to the Final Four is sponsored by today's Chevrolet, who invite you to see why more people are winning with the heartbeat of America. Diet Pepsi, you got the right one, baby. Uh-huh. And by Reebok.
They say the one on top has all the power. Which could be why more truck owners switched to Chevy last year than to any other truck. The top standard horsepower and the top available horsepower, our 454 SS, help make Chevrolet America's favorite half-ton pickup. For power at the top, more people are winning with the heartbeat of America. Today's truck is Chevrolet.
Sharp.
What goes into some of the world's most innovative business products?
Sharp thinking.
It's why this high-resolution VGA notebook computer fits in your briefcase.
Sharp thinking.
It created Sharp's most advanced high-speed copying system.
Sharp thinking.
It made the world's first desktop full-color fax a reality, and the Wizard electronic organizer a necessity. The one way to meet new business needs with new technology is
Sharp thinking about business.
When UNLV won the national championship, we knew they were a great team, but did we expect this much greatness? Now, after winning 30 in a row, they're saying to everybody else, catch us if you can.
Here they come again. Catch us if you can. Time to get a move on. We were young with all of our might. Catch us if you can. 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 Now we gotta run. No more time for fun. When we're getting angry, we young with all of our might. Catch us if you can. Catch us if you can. Catch us if you can. Catch us if you can.
And today, one of these teams will be caught. You know, somehow it seems that a public address system in this building would never be heard, but let's find out as we hear the player introductions. And here's your PA announcer, Mr. John George.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to today's game between the University of Nevada, Las Vegas Running Rebels and the Arkansas Razorbacks. Now let's meet the starting lineups for both teams. For UNLV, at forward, a 6'7" senior from Dallas, Texas, number 4, Larry Johnson. At forward, a 6'8" senior from Pasadena, California, number 32, Stacy Augman. At center, a 6'9" senior from Anteo Island, North Carolina, number 44, George Ackles. At guard, a 6'1" junior from Detroit, Michigan, number 12, Anderson Hunt. And at guard, a 6'2" senior from Las Vegas, Nevada, number 50, Greg Anthony. And the coach of the Running Rebels in his 18th year, Jerry Tarkanian. Arkansas Razorbacks. At forward, a 6'8" junior from Memphis, Tennessee, number 10, Todd Day. At forward, a 6'8" junior from Richmond, Virginia, number 35, Isaiah Morris. At center, a 6'9" junior from Fort Worth, Texas, number 25, Oliver Miller. At guard, a 5'10" senior from Memphis, Tennessee, number 20, Arlen Bowers. And at guard, a 6'2" junior from Tulsa, Oklahoma, number 11, Lee Mayberry. And the coach of the Arkansas Razorbacks in his 6th year is Nolan Richardson.
The talk is over. The ball goes in the air after this final commercial. We'll see you at halftime. Enjoy the game, everybody.
If you've ever wondered wondered what it's like to experience the Bavarian Alps, you don't have to go there to find out. Just head for Vail, Colorado and the Sun and Alp Hotel. And you'll get a taste of champagne powder snow and the richest Bavarian cream pie this side of Innsbruck. So if you go, get your skis whacked up and put your Visa card down. Because at the Sun and Alp, they take fun seriously, but they don't take American Express. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
Great defense starts with your feet. And I have MVP feet. That's why I plan to pump from Reebok. When I'm pumped up, I get support, protection, and a custom fit that's unbeatable. I'm a hot dog, but when it comes to protection, this is no bull. Pump up and air out.
Switch to the greatest sports performance shoe in the world, the Reebok Pump. Pump up and air out.
Well, two teams on the same track. The two longest win streaks in college basketball, 30 in a row for UNLV, 20 straight. That's the second longest by Arkansas, and about to collide now. And Billy, a big East officiating crew today.
Very critical to this game, Jim, because of the intensity level of the defense. Full court for Arkansas, that half-court pressure defense for Vegas. Both coaches, I'm sure, are going to watch the first couple minutes of this game and dictate just how much contact they can put on the defensive end of the court. But great officials that are brought in for this ball game.
George Ackles will jump for UNLV. Isaiah Morris for the Razorbacks. Oliver Miller.
Beautiful pass.
Right over to Bowers, who resets it now with Mayberry. Mayberry takes the jumper. Rebound by Augment.
He had Miller wide open, uncovered underneath the basket. Unlike Mayberry to take that shot.
Todd Day almost with the steal, and a travel called on Stacey Augment.
Excellent overplay defense by Day, who has always been known as an offensive player till last summer, and he became Mike Krzyzewski's stopper defensively at the forward spot for the national team.
He's got some assignment today, Billy. Here's Oliver Miller down low, and was it tied up? No, they call a foul on Ackles.
That is called a solid screen that Oliver Miller put on with a beautiful pick-and-roll play. And UNLV will have to defend that a lot better than they did on that occasion.
They're going to say he was in the act of shooting. Oliver Miller will attempt to. Junior from Fort Worth, third in the nation in field goal percentage, 70% from the floor, missing the first.
Great shot blocker as well. Probably has, for a man his side, as quick a feet as I've ever seen in basketball. He's an excellent passer, good work ethic.
Ackles now gets it over to Anthony, still looking for the game's first points.
And quick hands as he really took it away from Augment.
Augment gets it back out high, and Hunt delivers it low to Larry Johnson. Good little pass to Augment, slam dunk to get it started on the scoreboard. And a steal by Augment, but he's out of bounds.
Jim, I'm going to make a little bit of an appraisal here. If Arkansas, which is their tactic, has that much overplay defense that far away from the basket, look for Larry Johnson to start posting up down low and have a big game inside, because there won't be a lot of help on the double team. Vegas goes zone.
Todd Day will take the three. He's a good one.
Critical mistake by Anderson Hunt. He's got to recognize who's in that zone. Day has unlimited range.
Augment spins past Day in the corner. Hunt, he can shoot the three. He made 6 of them last year in the game against Arkansas, won by Vegas. Quickly down court to Day, and a turnover committed by Arkansas.
Arkansas will run that break. Yesterday they worked on their break drills offensively. They start out 1-on-1, they go 2-on-2, 3-on-3, then 5-on-5. They run the break beautifully. You see how far out they're picking up UNLV.
Anthony misses the three. Mayberry gets the free ball. On a wing to Morris.
Surprising he shot that ball straight in. They used the technique to shoot that ball off the boards in practice time and time again.
Free is Ackles. Over Miller. Nope, partially blocked by Miller. He has Bowers. Blocked by Hunt, but a foul call.
Oliver Miller, one of the great shot blockers ever at Arkansas, will set the career and seasonal records in time. You can see his timing. He stayed down on the floor until Ackles went ahead and made his move, and then went up and beautifully not only blocked the shot, but kept control, which he probably does as well as any shot blocker in the country.
They called goaltending, Billy, on the basket by Bowers. Goaltending called against Hunt, so Bowers can make it a three-point play with this free throw.
As long as that ball was in contact of the hand, I don't know how they could go ahead and call goaltending.
No, I don't understand that one. But Bowers gives Arkansas the three-point lead early.
And here you can see full court pressure, not guarding Ackles. Miller back for safety.
Miller showing quickness again, batting it out of bounds. Billy, he set the single-season block record in the game against Houston this week, but still a little distance to go before he breaks Andrew Lang's career block record at Arkansas.
With plenty of time to go, that should be his.
Augman, three-point shot.
Good blocking out by Mayberry.
And Day picks up the rebound, swinging it back over to Mayberry. Drive in the lane and dishing to Miller. Loose ball picked up by Johnson. Oh, Day saw it coming. And a foul called on Johnson.
Ill-advised pass by Larry Johnson. He and Day going after each other verbally. Johnson was trying to get the ball over to Greg Anthony. Without question, he got him with a body. And we see two different bodies going up against each other here in this one. Larry Johnson, one of the strongest players in America. And Todd Day, extremely thin. Jim, going back to Vegas now, in terms of the way this game is being played, it's time to get Larry Johnson the ball down in low. They've been playing strictly on the perimeter.
Day, a 75% free throw shooter. Top scorer on the team, 22 a game. He now has 5, and it's a 5-point Arkansas lead. Stolen by Miller. The 4-on-3. Day high in the air. And a foul called on the shot by Hunt. That's his second.
Beautiful touch by Day just to get that ball softly up on the rim. Even if the shot is missed, they have a putback. The pass was headed for Larry Johnson. There's great anticipation by Oliver Miller, an extremely intelligent basketball player. The good dish. Now watch how soft Day gets this ball up on the rim, knowing Miller's there for the tap-in.
Foul was before the shot. They'll bring it in underneath. 4 fouls on UNLV, none on Arkansas. Little off-balance shot by Day, doesn't drop. Anthony, one-handed up to Augman, another dunk for Augman.
Excellent pass off the dribble, and Larry Johnson made that play by setting the screen, so Augman had nobody to pick him up. Back to man-to-man goes Vegas. Change their defense from the zone to man-to-man. Trying to slow this game down a little bit, surprisingly.
Where did you think this game was headed, Billy?
Well, we know that Nolan Richardson wanted to play at full blast on both ends of the court. It looks like UNLV would like to turn it into more of a half-court game.
Mayberry missing on the turnaround.
What a pass.
To Hunt.
What a pass. That was about 75 feet, strictly with a wrist.
5 for Hunt.
There's that solid screen coming up by Miller.
He can set him, like you said, Billy, and Mayberry loses control out of bounds. Turnover by Mayberry, but you got to love this point guard matchup today between Anthony and Mayberry.
Well, an adjustment's going to have to be made on the solid screens because you can't allow Mayberry to just come off that screen that easily.
And he's called for the block as Mayberry. That's the first on Arkansas in the game. And a timeout on the floor. Number 1 trailing by 1 in the game's first 4 minutes.
You got the right one, baby. These days, as soon as you get a hit song, everybody thinks they can sing it better.
You got the right one, baby. Oh.
You got the right one, baby.
You got the right thing.
You got the right one.
You got the right one, everybody.
Infinitely blissful, spiritually wonderful Diet Pepsi,
He can do it. He really can.
Ooh, Diet Pepsi.
You got the right one, baby.
Baby, you got the right one.
I thought I was great. I hope you liked it.
Do I get a call back? How's that? There's only one right one, baby. You got the right one, baby.
Hey, what's that?
Oh, it's that new Chevy. It's an APV.
An AP who?
Yeah, it's a code. Top secret. We're talking adjustable composite panels. See that? Zero gravity modular seats.
Oh, yeah?
Resilient luster cup polyurea fenders. And it's got this...
Chevy Luna APV. A very original way more people are winning with the heartbeat.
Biorhythms.
Biorhythm?
Yeah.
Now it's easy to win with the heartbeat.
What in the world is 60 Minutes doing in a 900-year-old mansion? Eavesdropping. Eavesdropping on the people who eavesdrop on Saddam Hussein. Tonight on CBS.
We've seen two excellent passes by UNLV from the backcourt. Here we're going to see Greg Anthony fire this ball all the way down to a cutting Stacey Augmon. Keep your eye, however, on Larry Johnson, who is going to set a great screen here to allow Augmon to have the uncontested layup. Watch Johnson setting the screen. Augmon goes in. No way a defender. Now, in the next play, we'll see Larry Johnson with that pass I said was about 75 feet, just with the wrist, all the way down there. Hunt lays it in. Great plays.
And now Larry Johnson will inbound for UNLV.
Jim, I'm still waiting for Johnson in the low post. Here he is.
Well, Morris works around him to deny position.
Jerry Tarkanian in that timeout said we're going to let Larry Johnson get the ball down inside a little bit. He hadn't touched it yet down there today. You can see how much they're concentrating on the play. There it is.
And they got it over Morris, and Johnson banks it home. That's an old junior college matchup between those two today.
Well, Tarkanian didn't win 83% of his game sitting over there asleep on the bench, and it was so obvious that that's the place to go with that pressure on the perimeter.
6 unanswered points for the running Rebels. Day drives and in the lane is called for a traveling violation.
Todd trying to make a play that Stacey Augmon wouldn't let him have. A lot of jawing going on out there between Augmon and Day right now.
Now Augman's turn to work on Day. Takes the step. Miller helped strip it free.
And Larry Johnson acknowledged that block by looking at Oliver Miller and saying that was a super play. Augmon had beaten Day to the hoop. Great block.
Day almost, yes, forces the steal. Arlen Bowers has it, and he'll go ahead and lay it in.
Now Ackles not getting into play.
Almost another steal, but it sets up now as a 4-on-1. Ackles, whoa.
Block that one. He'd have taken his arm off.
I'm telling you, don't get the arm in the way. Lobbing it over Ackles. And Miller.
Perfectly timed pass. Now, Arkansas changing their defense a little bit. They're guarding everybody now so that Ackles can't be the guy that gets the easy pass in. Little zone pressure.
Back to Ackles, floating down the lane, and another basket for Ackles. 4 quick ones. Day at the other end. Offensive.
Oliver Miller showing he can throw the long baseball pass as well. A good job by Hunt getting all the way back on Day.
Day's first second team foul on Arkansas. The man who usually is in foul trouble for this team, is prone to be in foul trouble, is Oliver Miller, but not a foul to this point. Now a walk-on comes into the game for Arkansas, Ernie Murray. And Bowers will sit.
Hard to believe that a walk-on could play at this level of competition. Number 1, number 2. He has done a fine job for the club.
Hard to believe he can't find a scholarship for him. Last year he was a walk-on. One player, Michael Hogue, quit the team, and they gave him a scholarship for the second semester. But this year he came back as a walk-on again.
Boy, Johnson is clearing out some people in the low post.
Anthony drove on Murray and scores the basket.
Neither team showing any fatigue at this point, even an emotional fatigue that might take place so early in a ball game. Trying to get the second win, but they don't need it yet.
Miller delivers it out high. Murray on the three. There's the walk-on. Ernie Murray.
There's Augman.
And Oliver Miller called for the foul. Augman was losing control of it as he went up.
It's a good clean play, though, by Oliver Miller. There was no question in the mind of Stacey Augman that he was going all the way to the hoop on that play.
Billy, we were looking at some numbers, and in terms of national ranking statistics, scoring offense, UNLV's number 3. Margin of victory, they're on an all-time record pace. But you like the last 2 numbers.
Well, those are unbelievable, to be in the top of field goal shooting and also right near the top of field goal shooting percentage defense. Some combination. You can see also rebound margin, 3-point field goal percentage. And that margin of victory is one that has stood for a long time with the great UCLA Walton clubs back in '73.
Roosevelt Wallace is in for Arkansas.
Has proven to be an explosive scorer.
Augman makes 1 of 2. The long rebound comes back to Johnson, and UNLV will set the offense. Spencer in for UNLV. Elmore Spencer missing the turnaround. And Mayberry as they try to get the entry pass back to Elmore Spencer. Oliver Miller would have had a sure lay-in. Instead, it's a 3-point shot. Murray missing. Quick outlet again to Anthony. 3 on 2. Augman.
What we're having right now is UNLV starting to get their break going because Larry Johnson and before Ackles and now Spencer are able to out-rebound them 3 against 2 inside.
Wallace traveled.
And Jim, that could be a factor. If UNLV can release 3 men and count on Johnson and now Spencer to control those boards, then Arkansas can't crash everybody to the board.
Dropping it into the 7-footer Elmore Spencer. Oh, boy, they just keep coming up with great players, don't they, Billy?
And as we said at the top of the show, K.O. Miller, and they've got 10 to give, and that's what Jerry Tarkanian's doing right now. He's going to make Miller work against 2 fresh people.
On Fury in, and makes the 15-footer.
Led this club in scoring as a freshman, had to sit out in '89 due to some personal problems, but has come back well since then.
Johnson working on Roosevelt. And a foul called on Arkansas.
One of the things that's so difficult in guarding Larry Johnson is that he has great moves with the pivot. And as you saw right there, he gets a man up in the air, and he's got all that power and all that body to keep his man away, and then those great pivot moves that he uses. It's almost hard to stop him down there without committing a foul.
Let's watch now. Arkansas with Miller on the bench. And they'll go inside with Roosevelt Wallace and Isaiah Morris as he returns.
What I would expect we'd see during this period of time is UNLV to get their break going really well. And look for Anderson Hunt to pull up and take a 3 off the break.
How did you like the sedate way that UNLV came out for the starting lineups?
Well, I like a lot of things about this team, Jim. We watched them practice yesterday. They've got great camaraderie between this team. No hot dog in them at all. They all pull together. Man-to-man.
Wallace. Somebody blew an assignment. He was wide open.
Right, missed assignment.
Look at that snap pass to Hunt.
He was ready for the 3. Murray knew where he was. Good move.
Augman back out to Anthony. Good save.
Spencer a little shaky with his ball handling.
There's 3. Air ball by Hunt, but off the hands of Morris. And a timeout. Timeout on the floor. Now Vegas has taken the lead. UNLV with a 2-point lead nearing the midway point, first half.
Those April showers.
Dinner with Amanda. You remember that? Conference in Colorado? Ah, yes. You used to hate April. Taxes, sorting through receipts. But as a Gold Card member, you get this year-end summary of charges. Itemized, civilized, far less taxing.
Whenever April showers.
The Gold Card. Only from American Express. Don't leave home without it.
Sal, have you checked the batteries in the flashlight lately?
Yeah, sure. I'm tense.
A reminder to check your batteries with the copper top tester. It's free and only from Duracell.
Extra strength Rolaids antacid. Stronger because it has more calcium carbonate, more than any Tums tablet. And salt-free. More calcium carbonate and salt-free. This settles it once and for all.
Wouldn't it be great if instead of being in hot water with your boss, you were in warm water, the Caribbean, and swimming toward you was a beautiful fish? No, it was a woman. And yes, she had beer, Keystone. The premium gold-filtered beer in a can that tastes like beer in a bottle because of Keystone's specialty line can. And wouldn't it be great if you told your boss to take that job and sure, I'll have another. Keystone and Keystone Light. Bottled beer tastes in a can. Wouldn't that be great?
Now you got a real big shoe. Okay? All right.
The very best of the Ed Sullivan Show, next Sunday.
Jim Nance along with Billy Packer. Pat O'Brien coming up at the half. But Leslie Visser joins us right now with a report. Leslie?
Jim, in the last timeout, Jerry Tarkanian told his team to tell him if anyone gets tired not to rush their shots and for the centers to look for the high-low. On the opposite end, Nolan Richardson told his team they've got to stop the fast break. We'll look for it, Jim.
All right, Leslie. Both teams shooting over 60%. The biggest difference in the statistical categories would be rebounding, where Vegas holds a 9-3 edge. And that's been a real shortcoming for Arkansas, Billy. It's rebounding.
It has, Jim. You don't see the #2 team in the nation very often being a team that on the year is being out-rebounded. The high-low post is to get Larry Johnson open, and there was the case. Another great block.
That time by Morris.
Surprised Johnson that he was there on the weak side.
Anthony bats it out of bounds. Oliver Miller will come in now. They'll take out Wallace.
We have some wide bodies in this game, regardless of the size in terms of height. But Wallace looks like a defensive linebacker. Bowers could be a defensive back. Oliver Miller could be whatever he wanted to be.
And Larry Johnson may be the thickest player in college basketball.
Spencer unblocked.
Fury gets it back. Gets the pass underneath. Miller slam dunk.
Spencer's got to protect home base first before he takes off on the break.
Game is tied. 11 minutes to go, first half. Anthony on the jumper. Too strong. Rebound underneath Johnson. He'll lay it in. He's the top scorer for the Runnin' Rebels. 23 a game. Quickly at the other end. A steal by Spencer. Will Hunt dunk it? Yes.
Jim, this is what I see unfolding, and that's the fact that the defensive balance is not there. Anytime Mayberry drives, Vegas is sending 2 men long.
Another turnover. Bowers threw it away. Morris was cutting to the basket. Todd Day returns to the lineup for the Razorbacks. Later today, LSU and Duke. You know, Duke in non-ACC games at home, Billy, has won 63 in a row. As they'll challenge Shaquille O'Neal, and then same-day coverage of the Busch Clash and an Olympic Winterfest. Big lineup for you this afternoon on CBS Sports. Stay with us.
Of course, Shaquille O'Neal doesn't play very well on the road. Only had 38 points and 17 rebounds on the road against Georgia the other day.
Not well at all.
No. Straight, hard-nosed man-to-man. Illegal screen by Spencer. Got away with it.
Hoffman throws it away. 6th turnover on the Runnin' Rebels.
I'm really shocked at the fact that Vegas cannot get the ball to Larry Johnson in the low post. Right now he's being guarded by Rod Hury, who has no chance to handle him down low.
Day got a screen for a moment, so Johnson makes the switch. Miller is there for the offensive rebound.
Spencer the outlet man, but he gets rid of it wisely in a hurry. Good double team.
Anthony finds Augman on the baseline. That's 3 dunks in the first half for Augman alone. And another errant pass by the Razorbacks.
But that's the way they play, Jim. They're going to force that ball up the court on all occasions, normally wearing the other club down. But Vegas is in excellent shape, and they're deep, so I don't believe that's going to be a factor in this game.
Here's a guy that gives them more depth at UNLV, Everett Gray. He brings 9 points off the bench for Coach Tarkanian.
In less than 20 minutes of play in a game.
Here he'll have a chance. Oh, as he goes up for the dunk, Miller takes a piece of the arm. Two on Miller now. Team foul number 5.
What happens to a great shot blocker is most people tried to avoid him. What's taking place right now in the case of Augman, Spencer, Johnson, and that time Gray, they're taking the ball right to Miller, which doesn't give him the room to maneuver as a shot blocker. Consequently, he's picking up the fouls.
Right.
One more, and Nolan Richardson's going to have to put him down for the remainder of the half.
Here's another basketball player with a baseball background. He was a 3rd-round pick of the Astros in '87 was Everett Gray. Makes 1 of 2. Still trying to figure out the nickname for Bowers, how it works. They call him Truck at 5'11".
Well, he was a great running back as a junior high school football player. That's where he got the nickname.
And Miller. Score it. And a foul. Foul called on Gray. Watch Miller go up aggressively.
Again, the good pick and roll move. Curie doing a nice job because Spencer had to come over to help out. And the key to that, again, is that Vegas has had him a hard time with the pick and roll maneuvers. Perfect timing. Spencer had to commit.
Comes back in for UNLV. Miller will shoot a free throw. Here's the least likely guy on campus that needs a bodyguard. But how does he come to Barnhill today? He's got 2 policemen.
One on each side. He looked like Frank Broyles after a winning football game. Not a good pass by Larry Johnson. Great
what a save by Anthony. And Spencer wasn't ready for it. Miller snaps it today. Dunk time.
Now what's happening? Vegas has got themselves a problem in their alignment. Spencer is too often in a position to be the ball handler in the middle, and he's not capable. Good run by a pressing team.
The dunk ties it. Day is fouled as he was about to pass it back out high to Mayberry. Spencer's first, team foul number 6.
And we see Spencer right there, and it's really not his fault. He's in a position that he does not play well. So when you're passing to somebody, you've got to remember who he is, and he's got caught in the open court area right there. This young man's going to be an outstanding player. He's going to have to work on his footwork, but right now this game is kind of getting by him right in regard to the technicalities of the way Arkansas is playing.
Ackles was back in for UNLV. Day was disappointed. He wanted free throws, but they brought it inbounds underneath. And on the missed 3 and the rebound fight, Gray is called again. That's his second. And now they're in the bonus at the 1-on-1 with the 7th team foul.
Jim, what happened right there is that Gray has to understand as a weak side rebounder, he's got to block out first before going for the ball. He just released to the ball, allowed Hury to come right over his side. Hury had a streak of 22 straight from the foul line this year. The best free throw shooter on the club.
This is the man who really opened up the floodgates in the recruiting area of Memphis for the Razorbacks. He was Nolan Richardson's first big-time recruit here.
Mr. Basketball in Tennessee.
Augman coming in from the wing. Oh, he missed the lay-in. Too strong, but underneath on the follow, Gray is fouled.
Augman really put a move on Oliver Miller. The problem that time, he had 4 hands on the ball. Unfortunately for Vegas, they were all their own.
First on Hury. Foul was on Hury, 6th team foul. And at the conclusion of this game, Billy and I will select a Chevrolet most valuable player of the game from each team. And in their honor, Chevrolet donates a $1,000 scholarship to the General Scholarship Fund of each school.
Jim, one of the things that makes Stacey Augmon, in my opinion, maybe the most valuable player in the United States, is he is now in the backcourt. So no matter where you put him, he can guard any one of 4 positions. He'll probably be on Mayberry now, shifting up on over from playing against Day. So a different matchup.
Missing them both. 1 of 4 from the line for Gray.
There is Stacey Augmon on Mayberry. That's turnover.
Walking on Todd Day as he was going up for the 3. Saw Ackles in his face.
Well, George Ackles can move out, just as David Butler did last year, move out on the perimeter and really guard somebody.
Anderson Hunt, who was the most valuable player at the Final Four, he is back in. Gray sits. Hunt, to me, is always the forgotten guy on this team. MVP of the Final Four, was the MVP of the matchup against Arkansas last year when he had 28 against him.
Greg Anthony wide open here.
They got it over to him. Hits the side of the backboard, and now it's a 2-on-1. Day will shoot it over Hunt. Soft rebound comes back to Day, missing the short one.
There's your principle of verticality, a very well played situation by the defense and by the referee not to call a foul.
Blocked by Miller. Day has it.
3-on-1.
Lobbing it to Hury. 4-point Arkansas lead. Hury off the bench with 6.
You notice when Miller blocks a shot, how he keeps it in play. Probably does that better than anybody I've seen on the college level. Not a good pass. What a catch!
Ackles somehow came down with it. Now Miller to Day. What a pass! That's the largest lead of the season on UNLV. A 6-point lead. And a timeout called by the Runnin' Rebels.
Daytona 500 sponsored by STP next Sunday.
When you're 5'8" and 140 pounds, you don't play a power game. You use your head, your ground strokes, and my secret weapon, speed. That's why I picked the pump from Reebok. When I'm pumped up, I get support, protection, and a custom fit. So if you want to beat those rock and roll tennis guys, pump up and air out.
Switch to the greatest sports performance shoe in the world, the Reebok Pump. Pump up and air out.
160 horses. That's what Chevy S10 packs into the biggest V6 engine ever put in a compact pickup. Enough power to help switch more truck owners to Chevy last year than to any other truck. The move to Chevy is becoming a stampede. More people are winning with the heartbeat of America. Now it's easy to win with the heartbeat.
Listen to this. I make long-distance calls from payphones all the time. If I don't hear AT&T, I hang up. I dial 10-ATT-0, then I hear bong, AT&T, and I know who I'm dealing with.
When you make a long-distance call and you don't hear AT&T after the hang up, dial 10-ATT-0, then the area code and number. You get the AT&T service you want and prices you expect.
You just gotta listen. AT&T.
Barnhill Arena in Fayetteville going crazy as UNLV trails by 6. That's the largest deficit of the season for the Runnin' Rebels. Arkansas has scored 11 unanswered points. Field goal percentage over 60% for Arkansas. And Oliver Miller, 9 points, 3 blocks, and 3 rebounds, and a great assist leading into that timeout as he snapped it all the way down court to Todd Day.
Well, Jim, we've seen Billy Tubbs' clubs at Oklahoma throw the baseball pass as well as anybody as a team, but we're seeing out here a great example of baseball passes, length of court by Larry Johnson and Oliver Miller. Change back in his zone, one time down after a timeout. Johnson starting to try to use that left hand. They need to go him more inside.
Loose ball comes to Mayberry. Into the corner to Bowers.
Here comes Day. Nobody's got him.
Floating free for a 3. There it is. Too strong. Rebound by Johnson. And a 3-on-2. Augmon.
Boy, altered that shot in the air. Now, what's happening, as you can see, anytime Johnson and Eccles can control the boards, they're sending 3 out on the break. Arkansas only has 2 back. Vegas goes zone. These teams mirror each other an awful lot, what they try to do in practice and in their defensive structure in the game.
Bowers, 3-point shot. Curie coming in for the rebound, crashing, but no rebound. It comes to Johnson. Another outlet to Augmon. In the corner is Hunt for a 3. In and out. And Bowers almost had it. Eccles.
Oh, what a push
move.
Yep.
Todd Day can't believe it.
Well, Bowers did push Stacey Augmon. There was no question about it.
Foul on Bowers. His first, team foul number 7. This is the all-time record for scoring margin or margin of victory. And UCLA and that team back in 72, 30.3. And UNLV is almost, well, they're 2 points ahead of the pace right now, Billy.
And you have to remember a couple of things about those margins. Back in those days, there was no shot clock, so therefore teams could hold the ball. So you have to give UCLA some incredible credit then. And there was no 3-point shot as well. So every game now has to be played at this type of pace. So I would say that because of the rule change, that statistic probably doesn't mean as much as it should.
Clyde Fletcher is in for Arkansas. His first appearance.
Zone defense now, 2-3.
Blocked from behind, but they call it a foul. They say Anthony got him on the top of the head. Gives a little slap.
Now, in this particular defense, Mayberry, primary ball handler, is capable of the 3. So is Bowers and Hury. So they do have 3 3-point shooters, even though Todd Day's not on the floor.
Mayberry with an assist to turnover ratio on the season of better than 3-to-1, but which is outstanding. I mean, that would in some years lead the nation in that category. But how about Greg Anthony this year? 6-to-1.
Chris Corsiani leading the nation in assists. Mayberry not far behind. But they're not giving Hunt anything outside of the 3. He's open now.
Got it back over to him. And the perfect 3 by Hunt.
Against the zone. And what was smart about Anderson Hunt there, he stayed in position, realizing the zone was moving away from him. Now the 1-1-3 defense by UNLV. First time they've shown it today.
Bowers penetrates past Hunt. And the rebound. Johnson sees a man up ahead. It's Hunt. Mayberry shakes him out. Oh, and he still finds a way to get it down.
And it may be intentional.
Should be, Billy.
Yep. But I don't think they're going to get the call. It should be intentional with 2.
He tackled him.
How about the pass, though? We talked about the baseball pass. Larry Johnson, with a flick of the wrist, throws it about 60 feet. No question it has to be intentional. Shot goes. Larry Johnson just fired that ball on a line.
He's thrown more strikes today than Walter Johnson ever did. Hunt misses the opportunity for a 3-point play. However, UNLV's back ahead by 1. This is a team that has not trailed at halftime since last year's Final Four when Georgia Tech led them by 7 in Denver.
Remember, at Vegas, though, Arkansas last year in the regular season led by 4 at halftime. Just enough of the... In that particular case, Anthony coming from behind, it's so difficult as a jump shooter, knowing that guy's chasing you from behind. You feel he's going to get a piece of the arm.
Foul called on Curie. Well, Leslie Visser talked about it in the pregame show, and on the pants of the UNLV players, they're wearing an extra patch, a patch to commemorate their friends from the Nellis Air Force Base in Las Vegas. That's the base where the stealth bomber comes out of.
You know, the way Larry Johnson hesitates, and you're going to get a free shot out of this, and I'll explain to you why. Larry Johnson has a double motion here on the foul shot, and what happens, Day started to move in the lane as Johnson put his first move on. Now watch, here goes the first move, then he has the second move, and Day went in on the first move, giving Larry Johnson another opportunity on that 1-and-1.
Johnson's got a big smile on his face. He's just laughing about That hitch move he has.
It's like an old Harlem Globetrotter play. Remember when they used to throw it at the basket and still hold it in the hand? Everybody went in the lane. There it is. They're in the lane again.
Didn't call it that time, Billy. Augman chases it down for the rebound. Anthony going to Augman. Johnson. Let's see. They called him for it. Traveling on Larry Johnson.
Larry Johnson needs a little bit more room in there to operate, because when Oliver Miller was in the game, he had to alter his shot, and that time, a very good job by Wallace. UNLV stays in the zone.
Day is calling for the alley-oop, but Murray takes the three and makes it his second of the game.
Hunts out for the three-point shot.
And look at Bowers reach in, knock the ball loose. They thought it was off the foot of Augman. But they're saying a foul on Bowers. His second. Team foul number 10. So we'll call it the double bonus. A 2 free throw shooting situation. Next Sunday on CBS Sports, we'll have the Daytona 500 for you, starting at 12 Eastern time. By the way, Davey Allison has the pole position for that race you'll see next Sunday. Did it surprise you, Billy, when Augman and Johnson decided to come back this year? At that time, it looked like they would not be eligible for the tournament.
Well, they had a lot of options. You know, they could have gone pro. The other thing they could have done, they could have transferred out and played for some other school. But they have tremendous loyalty and devotion to, as I mentioned at the top of the show, to Jerry Tarkanian and their school. So I applaud them.
Wallace blocked by Johnson. Gets it back. And the tip-in try by Morris. Ackles gets it for UNLV. 4 minutes remaining in the first half. UNLV with a 1-point lead.
Tough shot. Tough shot. He wasn't ready.
Had Bowers right in his face also. Here's the walk-on, Ernie Murray.
You notice how Anderson Hunt is setting up over in that spot, but he's got to realize that Arkansas is playing him all the way for the three, maybe even pump fake, drive by, and look inside.
They with a tough pass to Morris, and it's knocked out of bounds off UNLV. Got a timeout with UNLV coming back from 6 down to take a 1-point lead.
On every trip you take in a Chevrolet, hundreds of hours and millions of dollars have been spent to help make it a safer one. In fact, there are more MDs and PhDs working for your safety than any other car company in the world. So if this looks like an uneventful trip, we worked hard to make it that way. Mile after mile, more people are winning with
The heartbeat of America. That's today's Chevrolet.
Who guarantees overnight air delivery before 10:30 to the most places across the country? Who did you think?
Before they could walk, they wanted to dance. Before they could talk, they wanted to sing. But they needed a lot of heart and desire before they could get to Broadway and make it on a chorus line. Now this Broadway legend is back and on tour. But if you want tickets, get to the box office early and get out your Visa card. Because this show won't be in town long, and it won't take American Express. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
Who guarantees overnight air delivery before 10:30 to the most people coast to coast? Who did you think?
UNLV 42-41. Pat O'Brien's coming up at halftime, and let's check in with Pat right now. Pat?
All right, Jim, thank you. I've been studying the last few huddles for Arkansas, and the theme has been attack the ball, stop those long UNLV passes, and that's what we're going to try to do all afternoon. Coach Richardson said, you guys got any breath in you left? And they feel that everybody's in pretty good shape. I just talked to Big O, and I said, you tired? He said, no way. Back to you guys.
Now, they've been talking about this game since the turn of the new year, and it's been very difficult for Arkansas to stay focused on its Southwest Conference game, very nearly losing to Houston on Thursday night. Coming back to win that game in the late going.
Day has himself placed all the way over the deep corner for his jump shot. Good job by Ackles to come all the way out from underneath and made the switch with Larry Johnson in zone.
Bowers in the corner to Murray. 1 on the shot clock. Morris not in time. Not in time. No basket. Did not get it off in time. The shot clock expired. Take away the go-ahead basket. Murray applying pressure on Greg Anthony.
These teams really match up well, don't they? Great guard play, about the same size position.
So similar.
Bowers out there. Hunt hasn't had anybody guard him like this all year.
Anthony gets the free basketball. Murray released early. He was looking for the snowbird basket at the other end. And there's a steal by Murray, working hard.
Wallace didn't realize Day was behind him.
And after a 3-on-1 opportunity, shuts down for him. They'll reset with Murray taking over the point spot with Mayberry on the bench. Bowers make a move past Augman, driving the baseline. Murray,
his third try for a 3, doesn't hit that one. First time today.
3-on-2 at the other end.
Whoa! Yes!
I thought that was over the basket. I thought it was over the entire backboard.
He went up a good, what are we going to say, Jim? 18 inches easy above the rim. Easy 18. And how about the fear of coming down?
4 dunks for Augman in the first half.
Zone has taken a little of the tempo away from Arkansas here, and now Day couldn't have any luck on one side of the court, went to the other.
Oh, Wallace takes him out.
That's got to be intentional. It's the second time today. Wallace just ran into him. No intent whatsoever to play the ball.
So right after Todd Day ties it again, UNLV.
Look, if that's not an intentional foul, then there's never been one in college basketball. You've got to call this. Now we're going to see the lob pass. I said 18 inches. I probably underestimated. That could have been 2 feet.
Yep.
But, Jim, on that call, the way these players are playing, you can't allow a fellow to come down and make that kind of almost tackle in the open court area. You've got to set a precedent there. I'm very surprised. Second time today that the call has not been made, and that one was an obvious one.
So Augman will shoot 2. Look at his numbers in the first half. It's already over his average. He averages 17. He now has 18.
Well, Stacy was 9 for 11 against Michigan State, 9 for 12 against Rutgers, 9 for 12 against UAB. He has put some numbers up.
1:30 to go in the first half.
So they stay in the zone. UNLV's played a lot more zone in this game than I anticipated, particularly when you consider the perimeter shooters that Arkansas has out there.
Bowers 3. Boy, this guy has really turned it around in the shooting department since last year. A career 40% shooter, now 53%.
Zone press. Augman tries to beat it with the dribble.
It's off the foot of Augman, and luckily Anthony picked up the loose ball. Spencer dumps it inside to Johnson. Oh, in and out. And Fury has it knocked out of his hands, out of bounds, Arkansas basketball.
Larry Johnson just turned, realized he's supposed to put that one away down in low. He has not gotten out in track so far today on offense. And here's that 1-1-3 zone. Now watch the switch out front. Augman and Anthony will go ahead and cross after the first pass. They hold their ground as Arkansas looks like they just want to hold it for 1.
Well, they'll run it down to about 15, 20 seconds left on the game clock. That's as far as they can go with it.
And you know what's so tough in the zone right now is that Arkansas has surrounded the zone with 4 excellent three-point shooters. Bowers, Mayberry, Day, and Hury all can hit it from out there. They've really extended that zone.
Must move it now. 5 on the shot clock. And not a good shot, but Mayberry makes it. Oh, an off-balance 3. That was taken too early, but there's Augman alertly picking it up.
Keeps it alive 3 times, 4 times.
And the half is here. For the first time since Denver, UNLV trails at the intermission.
By the same margin they trailed Arkansas last year in Las Vegas.
UNLV came back to win that game a year ago, 101-93. 12 lead changes in the first half, and the score at halftime, Arkansas 50, and Nevada, Las Vegas 46. Pat O'Brien will be back with the Prudential at the half and a Gulf War update from CBS News after this message and a word from your local station.
Hey, wouldn't it be great if you could just get away from it all right now and go fishing? Yeah, just you, a couple of friends, some fish, and a beautiful supply of beer, like Keystone, the premium cold-filtered beer in a can. It tastes like beer in a bottle because of Keystone's specially lined can. Yeah, wouldn't it be great if the only other person for miles around was the pizza delivery guy? Keystone and Keystone Light, bottled beer taste in a can. Wouldn't that be great?
To protect the lives of firefighters, DuPont developed a remarkable fire-resistant fiber for their clothing called Nomex. But perhaps even more remarkable is how it protects those who never even wear it. At DuPont, we make the things that make a difference.
Because there are races that last 24 hours. Because there are rallies that last 4 days. There are high-performance tires, Gold Michelin's.
This is the week to buy Sears Easy Living Premium Paint. Because during Sears President's Day sale, both satin finish and low-luster semi-gloss are at a remarkable price. On sale through President's Day. Only at Sears.
What in the world is 60 Minutes doing in a 900-year-old mansion? Eavesdropping on the people who eavesdrop on Saddam Hussein. Tonight on CBS.
This is CBS.
Well, after all, it's still a car. It's not like it had 6 wheels or nuclear power or something. But what it is the first car made in this country. From scratch. The way it's made. The way people care about how it's made. It's all new. We're proud of this car. It shows what you can do when you're willing to start all over again.
The tradition of dining at Binion's Horseshoe. Great service, great food, great prices. Like our $2 steak and our $2 breakfast, the best in Las Vegas. Or Italian cuisine with pizzazz at Benito's. And Binion's famous steaks, of course. Then for that special evening, elegant cuisine and a spectacular view, the Sky Room. The special dining tradition of Binion's Horseshoe, where value, service, and good taste are served with every meal.
The devastating effects of the 5th year of drought, tonight at 6:30.
CBS Sports presents The Prudential at the Half, sponsored by the companies of the Prudential. Come to the Prudential and build your future on the rock.
From Fayetteville, Arkansas, you are part of 1991 season history. UNLV has not trailed at the half all season, but it's nothing new to Arkansas. They have led at the half in every game this season. Hi again, everybody. I'm Pat O'Brien, and welcome to halftime. Before we begin here, let's send you quickly to New York City and a report on the Persian Gulf from Connie Chung of CBS News.
Good day. I'm Connie Chung, CBS News, with an update on the war. Defense Secretary Dick Cheney and General Colin Powell are heading home from Saudi Arabia after checking to see whether Allied forces are ready for a ground war. They'll brief President Bush tomorrow. Cheney refused to give any timetable for launching a ground attack against Iraqi forces in Kuwait. He said that is up to the president. The U.S. military reported today that a Marine Corps Harrier attack jet was shot down over southern Kuwait. The pilot is missing. It is the first U.S. aircraft down by Iraq in more than a week. That brings the total loss in combat to 15. Stay with CBS News for continuing coverage of the war. Also join us tonight for all the latest developments on the CBS Evening News. I'm Connie Chung in New York. Now back to Pat O'Brien in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Pat?
Thank you, Connie. Back here in Fayetteville, we'll check in the locker rooms and have the NCAA newsreel. All the news that we could find to stuff in there for you as At the Half continues from Fayetteville. We'll see you in a minute.
So how many cars does Mercedes test crash every year?
Oh, I say about 100. You can never learn enough. Ever since we had it patented, we have been improving this concept of the energy-absorbing car body.
But other companies use the concept.
We have never enforced the patent.
So Mercedes gave away a basic safety advance for free?
There are some things in life that are too important not to share.
A spatula. Edith, my battery is dead. Will you make me a copy? I'll pay you.
A reminder to check your batteries with the Copper Top Tester. It's free and only from Duracell.
Extra-strength Rolaids antacid. Stronger because it has more calcium carbonate, more than any Tums tablet. And salt-free. More calcium carbonate and salt-free. This settles it, once and for all.
I couldn't raise the money to save the orphanage. Guess I'm a failure.
Larry Milligan from Wall Street. I've invested in their future.
All you needed was some faith.
And friends.
In the movies, happy endings are easy, but in the real world, they take solid planning. So for peace of mind, investment advice are the home of your dreams. Come to the companies of the Prudential and build your future on the rock.
From the day they fell in love to the night you fell in love with them.
We've got a hit on our hands called I Love Lucy.
But that was the Lucy and Desi you only thought you knew.
What do they have that I don't?
Based on their intimate, true story.
You happy, honey? Very.
Me too.
I'm pregnant.
Lucy and Desi Before the Laughter, tonight.
The music event of the year is coming February 20th.
Wow!
The Grammy Awards.
That fella in the middle there with the hat is one of the guys who waited a week outside to get inside this basketball game, and it has been everything that everybody had talked about all week, and you're looking at one happy hog right there. Well, it's February 10th, and that means we are 32 days away from March Madness, the first day of the tournament, but that doesn't mean that February doesn't have any stories, and that's why we have the NCAA newsreel to bring you all the news that's fit to watch. Well, our equipment may be a little outmoded, but it's good enough to bring you this version of the NCAA newsreel, and we begin with admirers of Joey Meyer, if they could spot him.
Do you know me? This may seem puzzling, but you know me by sight.
Do you know this guy? Sure you do. He's DePaul coach Joey Meyer. And the question becomes, if you saw him on the street, could you spot him? Well, to help you out, there he is, a nice-looking guy who, to be honest, blends in with the crowd. And that's the whole point here. You see, Joey rides the train every day, and what he's become is a human marketing idea. If you recognize Joey, he recognizes you with a couple of tickets, and so you can imagine.
Certainly am. Do it. Sure can.
He spotted Joey Meyer. He's one of the lucky ones.
You're welcome.
Found Joey Meyer. I've been looking all over for him. I found him today. There's only one problem. I'm on the wrong train. I'm going to Oak Park. This is heading to Ravenswood or somewhere. I'm lost.
And if you don't get lost, you're going to the game.
Hi, I'm spotted Joey Meyer. Yeah, need a ticket.
All right. That's good for 2 seats.
Right.
We have upper level and lower level.
Lower level.
Of course he wants lower level. But for us, let's look up for a minute. And at BYU, they all look up to 7'6" Sean Bradley. He's not standing on anything, folks, and try shooting over this one. Anyway, guess who Sean has always wanted to meet? Manute Bol, his match.
I've always wanted to meet him because, I mean, he's one of the few people in this nation, basically, that are taller than I am. So I wanted to see what it was like to physically look up to someone. I look up to a lot of people, but to physically look up to someone, I really haven't ever done that for a long time.
And so there they are, and yes, we are gonna say it, the towers. If they stood on top of each other, they'd be a two-story apartment. Our next subject is about a coach who can't eke out a few minutes for a haircut. He is Arizona State's Bill Frieder, whose hair is, well, during game time, kind of a statement.
Billy, tell me you said you don't have time to get your hair cut during the season. Well, look, get the same style that Tarkanian and I have, and you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, but Bill has hair, so what to do? Well, he got his due done at a press briefing. A little off the top, a little off the side, and Bill Frieder's a new man. Or is he?
I don't have time for a new look. In fact, as soon as he cuts it, I mess it up.
That's the hair-raising story of Bill Frieder. Back to today's ball game, and what a game it is. And let's see what's going on down at the locker rooms. And we begin with Billy Packer, who's with the UNLV Rebels. Billy?
Thanks an awful lot, Pat. The talk coming out of this particular locker room is the fact that they've got to get back to hard-nosed, man-to-man defense. The way Arkansas has been surrounding the zone, and with so many outstanding perimeter shooters, Tark feels he's got to go back to his patented man-to-man. They also have got to figure out a way to get the ball to Larry Johnson down and low, make Oliver Miller work even harder. They think they can win this ball game, but it is going to be tough, as they knew from the outset. Now over to you, Leslie.
Billy, over here, it's a little bit of hoop heaven. The Razorback coaches are thrilled to have a 4-point lead on the defending national champion. They're pleased with a couple of things. They're pleased that they haven't done a very good job on Stacey Ogden, and that's one thing they want to work on. But they are pleased with their transition game. They're happy that they've been able to hold Larry Johnson to only 6 points. What they want in the second half is for Day to get in front of Ogden, not allowing those easy baskets, too many fast break baskets. They're also happy that of all the starters, none of them has more than 2 fouls. We'll see how it goes in the second half. Up to you.
Indeed, Leslie. Thank you. That's it for us. I'm Pat O'Brien. Thank you for joining us on the Prudential at the Half. Need I say, enjoy the second half here on CBS after a commercial. And a word from your local stations.
The Prudential at the Half was sponsored by the Prudential. Come to the companies of the Prudential and build your future on the rock.
From Gillette comes Sensor, the only razor that can sense and adjust to the individual needs of your face. Sensor blades are mounted on responsive springs to continuously sense and individually adjust to your face. The closest, safest, most comfortable Gillette Sensor, together with the richness of foamy shave cream for the best shave a man can get.
To help fight the corrosive effects of salt and water, every Lexus features airbag terminals plated in gold. Of course, we might have used a less expensive material, but it wasn't money we were interested in saving.
Something's coming.
What is it?
With an appetite for living things.
Daddy, please don't go out there.
Lisa Hartman, A. Martinez, Not of This World, Tuesday.
This is CBS.
Straight from the ocean to the Frontier Hotel and Gambling Hall. The freshest fish in Las Vegas, served in an atmosphere reminiscent of a Caribbean hideaway. It's the St. Thomas Seafood Grotto. Every day's a new fresh catch menu, and it's only at the
Frontier, where Las Vegas plays.
At Plant World, you'd expect to find plants, and you do. Beautiful, healthy, hardy plants. But you'll also find the largest variety of indoor and outdoor plant material, and the continual savings on all gardening supplies. Plant World's February fertilizer sale features 40 pounds of Ultra Fortified. Your choice, $8.88. Plant World has been making gardening easier for Las Vegans for over 23 years. So when you're looking for quality, service, and selection, shop Plant World, 2 locations, and discover the value of high quality.
You're watching Channel 8, Southern Nevada's 24-hour news source.
CBS Sports coverage of the road to the Final Four is sponsored by Lexus Automobiles, the result of a relentless pursuit of perfection. Delta Airlines, we love to fly, and it shows. And by Bud Light, everything else is just a light.
Look at Old Main, the oldest building on the campus here at the University of Arkansas. And number 2 leads number 1 at the intermission, 50-46. Jim Nance along with Billy Packer. Billy, does this surprise you at all here at the intermission?
Well, it really doesn't. I'm surprised somewhat in the fact that UNLV went to the zone as much as they did. I'm also surprised they haven't been able to get the ball down in the low post to Larry Johnson. But Arkansas is a quality club. They're playing their kind of game. And when you can see, whenever it becomes a full-court 90-foot type game, Arkansas goes in a spurt. Maybe, you know, even an 11-0 run, I believe they had at one time. When it becomes a half-court game, it's usually UNLV's. It's going to be interesting to see if this is anything like the second half of the other game that UNLV was behind at halftime, which we remember so well against Georgia Tech.
Yeah, and they shut down Georgia Tech the first 9 minutes of that second half without allowing them a field goal. All right, let's check the numbers game real quick for you. 3-point shooting, UNLV has made 25%. Arkansas 6 out of 13.
And 2 of those coming from off the bench, where the team has played so well. I mean, this Arkansas club has shown some depth. They've kept Oliver Miller out of trouble. 14-3. Amazing disadvantage there for UNLV.
Well, that's pretty much right on line. Turnovers on the season, a little above average in this high-intensity game. And Augman with 19 leads UNLV. Todd Day, 4 of 11 from the floor, but he has 12 to top the Razorbacks. So this dynasty in the desert, Billy, their dance with greatness. You have to prove it here today, don't you believe? This team is to make its mark in history?
Jim, in every sport, you hear so many people are willing to put a guy before his time in the pile of greatness. And as an example, you know, in the golf that you cover, how many people were going to be the next Nicklaus? You know, and just as this club, they may do it, but you have got to do it with performance, not with publicity. Let's see if they have it in them.
Down 4, UNLV has it to start the second half. This team trying to become the first repeat champion since UCLA, 1972 and 73.
And Arkansas starts in their 2-3 matchup zone.
Ackles gets the generous roll, and it's a 2-point lead for Arkansas.
Good job by Ackles to fill in the middle of that zone, get that nice easy jumper.
Miller, a perfect 4 for 4 from the floor in the first half. Dumps it to Morris, turnaround, no go, and out of bounds off Day, who is blocked right into the official and takes him out also.
Good job by Greg Anthony, and Anthony hurt his leg a little bit. That official really went down as Jimmy Burr. Of course, he did not make the call there. He's just trying to get himself back together again, a real tough competitor. Let's see what happens right here. See, Anthony goes ahead and sets the illegal screen. Burr gets hit by Todd Day and goes down. It's like he hurt his neck a little bit.
I think he landed on the front row of the seats over here, Billy, against the footrest.
See Todd Day crashing in beautifully on the boards, and there's that screen that should have been a foul on Anthony, not called. The reason it's not called, Burr, of course, is laying on his back. Tough guy. Nice congratulations by Todd Day. He's up. And smiling.
He said, I had position. I drew the charge.
Well, he's lucky that it was Day who hit him.
You had
about 185 pounds and not a Larry Johnson or an Oliver Miller. And there we see they stay in the 2-3 zone now with Miller in the middle. Anderson Hunt out here looking for something. Great bounce pass.
And Larry Johnson ties it at 50.
Well, what a pass.
And a steal by Anthony. He leaps into the air, bats it down, and is able to retrieve it. Good come around.
Oh, what a pass there. Did you see what Augman had in mind?
Yep, but Johnson saved it also.
Stacey Augman had in mind to not only save it, but to make a pass with the left hand.
I think it even caught Johnson by surprise.
Well, this may catch you by surprise. If I had to pick one player in the United States in terms of his versatility and what he can mean to a basketball team to win a game, and I had to make that choice between Larry Johnson and Stacey Augman, I'd have to go with this fellow right here because of his versatility to be able to do so many different things.
Morris was called for the foul. It's his first. That doesn't surprise me. The versatility.
And not to take anything away from Larry Johnson either, because, of course, he's very versatile as well. But Stacy just can guard so many different people.
First 6 points of the second half to the running Rebels. Mayberry has it swatted away, and here comes a 3-on-1 for the running Rebels.
If I'm Nolan Richardson and they score, I go timeout right here, because the run is on that he can't afford to let happen, even on his home floor.
8 in a row for Vegas, and a 4-point lead.
Hasn't used any.
Day, the long 3, front of the rim. Augment tries to get the break going.
Got Johnson on a lob.
They've got Hunt in the corner. It's a 3. Ackles pulls it down. Into Ackles. Oh, right over Miller. And that's 10, the first 10 of the second half for UNLV. Now the timeout is called by Arkansas. Well, Billy, we talked about the Georgia Tech game last year in the Final Four. Same kind of start to the second half for Vegas here.
From the Far East to Europe. Across the Caribbean and throughout North America, only one airline covers so much of the world with so much warmth.
Yo, Mars Blackman, here with the Aladdin's lamp. I am the genie on the lamp. I'm granting you just one wish.
What should I wish for? Do you know?
$1 million?
Nah, tax problem.
A new car?
Can't drive. I got it.
A wop bam bam boom!
Look, Mom, I can fly. I like that, Genie.
I am the greatest!
The Accord 4-door sedan. We took a good idea and built on it. Introducing the Accord wagon from Honda.
The world's fastest auto race, a 50-mile dash at Daytona. The Busch Clash, today on CBS Sports.
UNLV storms out of the locker room to start the second half. Let's get a report from Pat O'Brien.
Thanks, Jim. Last Arkansas huddle. No strategy talk. Just a simple speech from Nolan Richardson. Said, you came out dragging. Now let's go back to work. As simple as that. Let's go back to you.
All right, Pat. And he told us yesterday at practice, Nolan Richardson did, that he has stressed to his team that basketball, and particularly in this game, it's going to be a battle of streaks. We're going to have some streaks go against us. So be prepared for it. But we're going to have them come right back our way at some point also.
Set their offense up a little bit higher now, trying to make sure they get a good shot off a set play here, and they've got one.
Miller has it, right off the glass, had position on Ackles.
There's one of those excellent timeouts by a coach, get his team settled down. Couldn't afford to run. Curie on Johnson. They've got to get Johnson free for a shot inside. He's got a weaker player playing on him physically, and they just can't get him the ball.
Trying to post him up. And we got a whistle. The foul called on Bowers.
Right, the double team by Bowers. The problem was that Augman, with his size at 6'8", maybe even a little bit bigger, was able to play over his head.
That's the third on Bowers, or Truck, if you will. Now we've got a switch. Driving on Miller. Underneath there is Johnson. Right below the hoop. He tips it in off his own miss.
See, Curie not quite strong enough, as Morris is, to go ahead and keep a body on Larry Johnson. And they are going man-to-man. Lob available. Here comes Stacey Augman. Did a good job from the weak side to give Ackles all the help he needed.
They underestimate Ackles' jumping ability. With the 3. Knocked out
a great job coming in from the outside. Nobody blocking him out. This young fellow really gets up in the air. By the time the season's over, be a more dangerous center than was David Butler last year. Another dish.
Yep, drops it into Johnson off the back of the rim. Another basket for Johnson.
Richardson's going to have to make a change here. Hury cannot handle him. And here comes Morris into the game.
Lee, Mayberry, in and out. Johnson with the rebound. Starts at 3-on-2. Coming down the wing is Hunt. Augmon on the follow.
So Stacey Augmon made a great shot there. The shot of the year so far is the one that he made against Cal State Santa Barbara. On one knee, made a shot from about 12 feet when he had nobody to pass to.
Billy, this is suddenly a 10-point lead for UNLV.
Another great job by Ackles. There was no backside help that time. He just got off the floor quickly.
Now they're able to bring in Morris on the dead ball situation for Hury.
Now that was something that had to take place because Hury just not strong enough to guard Larry Johnson down on the low post. Morris had played Johnson in junior college when his club beat Odessa. He played him to a standstill, 16 each.
Day rattles home a 3.
You notice also that Arkansas has not, because they can't score, they haven't been able to install their press in the second half. And that takes away a big part of their game. Greg Anthony can't believe it.
He doesn't stop smiling, though, does he?
We talked about that young man who's given up his scholarship to take on his business interests, and I made a comment and talked to him about it yesterday that I don't believe that that's something that should be allowed under NCAA rules, not to take anything away from him, but you can't afford to have guys giving up scholarships, taking jobs. Can you imagine some of the jobs that could be made available?
Well, that's if you really wanted to take advantage of that rule.
Exactly. It's a loophole that has to be closed immediately.
Miller still perfect from the floor. He has 13. Oh, please. 25 for Augmon. His career high is 34, set against Utah State last week. He may be in line to break that today. Here's Bowers. I'm not sure what he's doing, but he gets it into Miller.
Strong hands. Now that time Stacey Augmon let Day go because he thought he could make the steal. That won't happen often. He'll stick right on him. They don't realize the ball is coming in bounds.
Johnson almost stole it. Now reaching around. Thought he had the block, but he fouled Morris. That's number 2 on LJ. Team foul number 1 of the second half. Well, UNLV, we keep talking about their place in history, and they have to establish that today, of course. They have to maintain the unbeaten record to have the shot at joining these undefeated champions. The last was Indiana in 1976. There have been 7 in all, 4 times accomplished by Coach Wooden at UCLA.
They have a shot. They've had 16 undefeated teams, and only 7 have become national champions. The last 2 undefeated teams in regular season basketball. Jim, do you have an idea who they are?
Well, I know the last one was Larry Bird in Indiana State in '79.
Now, see, everybody says that. In the same year, there was another team that was undefeated in regular season.
79.
Everybody remembers Bird. This is an unfair question.
Well,
Alcorn State. Can you imagine that? That's a tough question. And I did the Bird game against Arkansas, Indiana State, Arkansas, one of the great regional finals of all time. Bob Heaton hit that shot for the win.
Here's Augmon now, mounting his total to 27. Yeah, that was the Midwest final. Indiana State ranked number 1 against Arkansas, and Heaton hit it at the end.
Right, game came down the wire. It was Sidney Moncrief guarding Larry Bird. Figuring Bird was going to touch it. Instead, it was Bob Heaton hit the shot.
Mayberry makes that one. Augmon is so hot he takes it and makes it again.
He's pulled up, hit the jumper, playing great defense on Day. And now he's talking to the Arkansas bench as well.
He's been talking to Day throughout this game. Day puts up an off-balance shot, running with it. And now Johnson on the rebound. They've got Hunt leaving early.
Now the problem for Nolan Richardson, he's already called 1 timeout. His team's in serious trouble now.
A slam dunk by Johnson. The basket counts.
what you can sense right here, Jim, is the fact that Vegas is now starting to get an emotional edge on Arkansas. You can see some pieces starting to fall apart. Larry Johnson buries that one.
Not only buried it, he almost took the rim off.
Now, Bowers did the right thing. He got out of his way.
That is 4, however, on Bowers. And he will sit down.
Larry Johnson looks like, you can see, you know, the little difference in the look of these players right now. You can see the strain starting to come on some Arkansas faces and a relaxed nature in UNLV.
Already has his double-double.
It's kind of like the look on Sugar Ray Leonard's face as the fight wore on last night, realizing he had come to the end of the road. And I'm not burying Arkansas at this point in the game, but there has been a change the last couple of minutes.
Mayberry, three-point shot, way short. Spencer with the rebound. Good pass to Hunt. He's out ahead of everyone. His second dunk of the game, and it's a 12-point lead, largest lead of the game for UNLV.
Time now for them to go ahead and get Mayberry and Oliver Miller handling the ball most of the time. Try to get Oliver Miller the ball. He's got Spencer on him.
Morris.
Tough shot.
Throws it with one hand. And again, Hunt leaving early. Mayberry comes in on him, missing the layup. Rebound by Ernie Murray.
Good job by Mayberry. So going to this man-to-man, shut all that perimeter shooting down.
Now he put it on the floor.
He won't stop Hunt this time.
Fury coming down, but Hunt scores again. 14-point lead for Vegas.
Time for another timeout for Nolan. I mean, he's got to pull this club down. Mayberry is exhausted. The team is letting it fall apart on him. Great run by UNLV.
Billy, they have outscored Arkansas 29-11 here in the second half.
Wild thing. It is a wild thing. Come shout and sing, join in the ring. It could be queen or it could be king. You go your way and I'll go mine. As long as you just make it fine.
Good times roll with the clean, fresh taste of Bud Light. It won't fill you up, never let you down.
Wild thing.
This is how the roomy new Cutlass Supreme SL looks after traveling 300 highway miles on just 10 gallons of gas. And this is how Honda Accord looks after the same challenge. Well, if it hadn't run out of gas 20 miles back, you'd see that it's smaller and it's blue. And next trip, Dad, it's yours. Who says you can't get great gas mileage in a roomy, comfortable car? Cutlass Supreme is one car that does it all and does it right.
This is the new generation of old.
Over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house we go. The horseman's away to carry the sleigh to the wide and crispy snow.
A Michelin tire can give you enough miles to circle the world more than 2 times. That's a lot of trips to Grandma's. Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires.
We've got a hit on our hands called I Love Lucy.
The untold story of the Lucy and Desi you only thought you knew.
What do they have that I don't?
Lucy and Desi Before the Laughter tonight.
Back at the barn and UNLV exploding to a 14-point lead. Let's check in with Leslie Visser.
Jim, during the last timeout, Jerry Tarkanian cautioned his troops not to get beaten off the dribble. He expects Arkansas to go one-on-one. On the other end, Nolan Richardson told his team he wants more shooting from Mayberry, more rebounding from Wallace, and do something with Stacey Osmond. Back to you guys.
Yeah, and they've got to do something with the rebounds also. In the second half, 11-1 UNLV on the boards as Spencer comes in, denies, and knocks it out of bounds.
A subtle move by Jerry Tarkanian, giving Stacey Ogman with this tremendous run they're having a little rest right here. So he's got Gray now substituting.
Look, they had to call the timeout as the 5 count was about to come on them.
And that leaves them with no timeouts.
Oh, with 12 minutes left in the game, they had to burn their final one.
Seems to me a new car warranty should cover the entire car for many miles. Now take Ford Taurus. Its basic warranty ends at just 12,000 miles. But the basic warranty on the new Cutlass Supreme goes a bit farther.
From New York to L.A., back to New York to L.A., 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 to New York. Plus a trip to Anchorage, Alaska.
Cutlass Supreme with its bumper-to-bumper plus warranty. Here's one car that does it all and does it right. Hey, Dad.
This is the new generation of old.
This is CBS.
The buffet at the Gold Coast. The best foods for the best price anywhere. Take our words for it. Head for the Gold Coast Buffet. The last word in reasonably priced dining.
Now, if you want a Mercedes, it's like I told the salesman. You gotta look at everything, not just performance.
I think this guy had motor oil in his veins.
There's your depreciation, insurance, upkeep. Gotta know the resale value, okay?
He was reciting the brochure from memory.
Above all, safety.
Finally, I tell him about our special 1991 S-Class leasing program. Payments are extremely competitive. His jaw drops. He really didn't know.
It's like I tell my son, it's not what you spend, it's what you hold on to.
The ultimate battle for the Runnin' Rebels, tonight at 6:30.
Jim Nance and Billy Packer from Fayetteville in the natural state. And UNLV, as we summarize, with a 14-point lead, the 29-11 edge in this half. And Ogman moving in on career numbers for him. Oliver Miller, 6 for 6 from the floor.
Gave Ogman a chance to get back in the game.
Mayberry takes a step. Good shot by Mayberry. Foul on Mayberry, a little over-aggressive. His third. And team foul number 3. He has committed today 6 turnovers as Mayberry. He averages less than 2 per game.
And what he expected there, he expected Anthony to pivot and roll away from him and then try to steal from behind. Instead, Greg Anthony turned right back into his face, which was a smart move.
Ogman posting up on Day.
Didn't realize Miller was behind him.
Miller pulls down the rebound, but no, does not get the outlet pass to Murray. It's taken away by Hunt.
Miller gets another one.
Miller blocks it.
There was a collision. Wallace and Johnson. And Wallace came out the winner. That won't happen often in the college level. Oliver Miller, a great shot blocker. The way he keeps that ball alive.
He has 6 blocks, Billy, today. Mayberry forcing it a bit. 7 for 7 from the floor.
Now what's happening right now with those timeouts that they've used, they've got a chance to get back in focus. Nolan Richardson's done a good job with his plump.
Ogman able to drop it in to Johnson and traveling on UNLV.
Well, Larry Johnson was just waiting to get some space there to put it in. I didn't see the walk myself. He's a little upset with the call. Now Wallace and Larry Johnson getting into it. I'd hate to have to break that one up. Stay man-to-man. UNLV used a lot of zone in the first half. It got him in trouble with that perimeter shooting. Second half, it's an all man-to-man, right-in-your-face defense. Oh, good step out. Great play by Spencer.
Stepped out, then dropped back and got the steal. 3-on-1, Hunt.
That was a sensational play by Spencer. Stepped out, nobody anticipated it. Just turned the ball over. Does another nice job stepping up.
This time it'll be Greg Anthony's turn. Nope. Can't find the handle, but Johnson will finish it off.
2 excellent plays by Spencer on the defensive end of the floor. First half, he had his problems.
Here's Wallace taking the jumper. Roosevelt Wallace.
Before the season's over, you have to see Wallace playing a lot more time. This club needs rebounding strength and bodies on the inside to help Oliver Miller out a little bit. And Wallace can put some points on the board.
Spencer. Oh, it looked like all ball.
Oh,
it is. Yes.
Oliver Miller talked the official into that one. The initial inclination was foul.
Well, they call it a tie-up situation. Yep. The possession arrow remained on the UNLV side, so they'll inbound it, but another great play by Miller.
Jim, interesting. On Jerry Tarkanian's bench, he's got 3 fellows that are assistants, all of which were head coaches. Timmy Gergerich, who was at Pitt, Ron Adams at Fresno State, Ed Gordian, who was at Loyola Marymount. At halftime, only Adams and Gergerich talked about details of the game. One for offensive strategy, one for defense.
Foul called on Spencer. Stay tuned for another top 20 NCAA basketball matchup. Shaquille O'Neal leads 19th ranked LSU into Durham to take on number 6 Duke, followed by same-day coverage of the Busch Clash from Daytona at 4:30 and Olympic Winterfest countdown to Albertville. That's all today on CBS.
Good slide baseline.
Got right past Spencer and Ackles.
Well, Spencer was concentrating so much on Miller, he wasn't ready.
Hunt launching the high arching 3.
Knowing Miller was coming right at him. That's some kind of concentration.
Now, our friend and colleague Mike Francesa always likes to point out when Hunt starts knocking down those 3s, the other team is in all kinds of trouble.
They are. We talked about that at the start of the show. You know, if they're better than 2 for 5, they're so tough. And he is breaking long as well. Good steal. Murray almost had a piece of that.
Yep. Got a piece of the arm, however.
Well, Jim, what that does is when Anderson Hunt's out there, you can see what it has done to the defense of Arkansas. They have to go out and extend so far to protect against that play and also cross-court passing that it leaves the inside wide open. One of the reasons they're having such a difficult time off the boards as well. Anderson Hunt, of course, knowing that they have dominance on the board, is releasing on that break the minute the shot goes up. You talked about him in the Final Four last year. Had 20 and then 29 and MVP of the Final Four. That'll be a trivia question down the road somewhere when you consider all the great players that were on this team and say who was the MVP.
Hunt now has 23 as Bowers comes back in for Murray. Mayberry.
Tough shot.
Back to the rim. And a foul with the body was Ackles.
And it just goes to show you good timing by Dave.
We're at the Barn on the Arkansas campus, Barnhill Arena. Jim Nance and Billy Packer for the 1-against-2 showdown.
Jim, when you look at this arena, you have to think of Eddie Sutton, the man that really brought big-time basketball here to Arkansas. A man who's doing the job at Oklahoma State, could become the first man in the history of NCAA Division I to take 4 different teams to the NCAA tournament. He had Creighton, of course, Arkansas, Kentucky, and now Oklahoma State.
There's a steal.
Bad pass.
Anthony clobbered by Day on the way up.
Cross-court, lazy pass.
Oak State lost last night,
yes,
but moved into the top 25 for the first time this year.
Well, it'd be hard to conceive, particularly with the balance in the Big 8, for them not to go into multiple teams in the NCAA tournament.
Of course, Nebraska's the surprise there, and the young man from Nebraska, Clifford Scales, says in the years past we couldn't wait until March just to catch UNLV on TV. Well, this year
they'll be playing.
We're going to be playing with them.
Good job by Danny Nee. And Jim, I watched kind of in awe last night when you and Tark in the lobby start talking about matchups. So, you know, you're like 2 basketball sickos. They're already talking about matchups. Who's going to be paired where? Who's going where? And I thought you were the most interested guy in the world in that, but I think Tark's right there with you.
Love to speculate on those seedings. They tripped momentarily, takes the turnaround, and Miller with the rebound to keep it for Arkansas.
Arkansas, that's Miller's first miss of the day. Arkansas just not getting the kind of shots they want.
There's one you want.
Good cross-court passing.
Curry inside today. Basketball junkies trying to figure out who will be the 1 seeds. Everyone has UNLV and Arkansas as 2 of the 1 seeds. Got to think Ohio State will be another one, and then Indiana or Duke. Johnson, double on the way up. Yep.
Double pump. That's the case of the strength.
Great body control, too, for a man of that size.
I can see Oliver Miller now starting to really wear down physically. He's having a hard time getting up and down the court.
That ball was tipped and somehow bounced off the glass and in.
see, Oliver Miller is just worn out. He can't get to the spots anymore. And Nolan Richardson has no timeouts. Of course, being this far down, he's got to keep him in the game, but his team is very tired.
Hunt just ran into Mayberry. Augman with the basket goes over 30. He has 31. And we were talking about seedings. How about rankings for the week going in? UNLV, of course, 1 and 2 with Arkansas. Ohio State 3. How will it change if UNLV holds on to win? You think Arkansas will drop any worse than number 3?
I wouldn't think so, Jim.
There's the rest of the top 10. Got an official timeout on the floor with 8 minutes left and a 16-point lead for UNLV.
Who guarantees overnight air delivery before 10:30 to more businesses than anyone else in the business? Who did you think?
I am holding something green and powerful, and it's going to change your weekend.
What, lawn clippers?
I'm picking you up at 4 o'clock.
So where are you taking me?
Reservation for the Newtons?
Yes, ma'am. What else have you got planned?
The whole weekend.
Only one card gives you the privileges of membership. The American Express card. Don't leave home without it.
Who guarantees overnight air delivery before 10:30 to the most places across the country? Who did you think?
CBS Sports coverage of the road to the Final Four is sponsored by Mercedes-Benz, engineered like no other car in the world. UPS now offering 10:30 a.m. guaranteed overnight air delivery. And by the American Express card, membership has its privileges.
All the great athletes in this building today, perhaps the greatest athlete or one of them of all time, is sitting on the end of UNLV's bench, Walter Payton. And why the Rebels? Why are you such a big fan of the Rebels?
You know, I've been a fan of the Rebels for about 9.5 years, and
you liked them when they were losing.
That's right, and because of the style they played, they were very aggressive. They had a lot of fun. And just like with the Chicago Bears, we had a losing season when I first started. I stayed with it. We ended up winning the Super Bowl, and the same thing happened with these guys. They had the Cinderella season last year.
Did you talk to him before this game? I know you gave him a pep speech before the final last year.
Yes, I had breakfast with him this morning, and I gave him a talk and told him, hey, just calm down, play within yourself. Don't let the crowd take you out of what you do best.
Yes or no? Do you miss football?
I missed being around the players, the camaraderie. I don't miss all the bumps and bruises.
We miss you. Thank you, Walter. Back to you guys.
All right, Pat, you know, there's another great athlete here today, and the super center fielder for the Pittsburgh Pirates, Andy Van Slyke, one of the biggest hoop fans you'll ever find. He's here.
Yeah, the Arkansas students made a mistake. They had a home run hitting contest yesterday down here in the field. Andy kind of wandered in with his blue jeans on. Said, hey, let me try that.
Mind if I take a few swings?
Yeah, 4 out of 5 right out of there.
20 points for Larry Johnson.
Boy, that was a quiet 20, wasn't it?
21 now, an 18-point lead.
And Oliver Miller stayed in the game. He really needed that timeout. He only averages 24 minutes a game on the year, so he's getting an awful lot of continuous play here today, and having to go up against 2 centers, it's caused him to really be fatigued. There was an example.
Yep, didn't jump high. Exactly. Timed his jump also. Ackles swats it out to Anthony. Over to Hunt. Here comes Ackles trailing. Score it on a foul.
Now, you can see Ackles was able to go up higher than Miller, tap the ball out, and then Ackles ran 90 feet down the floor and makes the shot, while Oliver Miller just took about 2 steps and said, hey, this has been too tough for me right here. Now, there you can see Ackles coming down the floor. He's been able to be spelled today by Spencer. And those two players, as we said at the top of the show, KOO and tend to give, has really been a big advantage for UNLV in this game.
Arlen Bowers fouls out on that hack. I'm really impressed by Ackles, a young man who did not take up basketball until his junior year in high school. He was a soccer goalie.
How many times have we heard about big men that played soccer at a young age having those quick feet?
Miller follows his own miss with a little tip in. You think of Hakeem Olajuwon.
Right.
Patrick Ewing started out playing soccer also.
Was it Michael Thompson, also a soccer player?
Right, the Bahamas.
Yep. Good job by Ackles to come out. He's done that all day today. Come out and receive the ball, whether it be against the press or in the half court, creating a passing lane.
Now they just bring it out high to Augman. 20 on the shot clock.
Oh, what a pass.
Bouncing it inside. Johnson reverse.
What a pass by Stacey Augman. 6'8", sat right down on the floor, threw the bounce right between everybody.
Mayberry with a 3, short again. And Augman with a steal. So we just go ahead and give him the Chevy MVP check right now. Here's Johnson trailing, scoring, and 25 now for Johnson.
And there again, the unselfish nature of this club. A 4-on-2 break. This game has been blown over by UNLV. Terrific play on their part.
Curie traveled as he made the move in the lane. LSU and Duke is coming up next. And, you know, the last non-conference team to beat Las Vegas was LSU last year on Super Sunday. It was a 107-105 shootout in Baton Rouge. LSU beat the Runnin' Rebels, and today Shaq and company will take on Duke. Do you think these are Final Four teams? I think Duke could be.
Two All-American players. I'm going to throw one out at Shaquille O'Neal. He is really Shaquille, which is little one. Rashawn, which is warrior. O'Neal, which is his mother's surname. So the little one is a warrior. Believe me, people who watch that game today will see that he certainly is. One of the truly gifted big men that have come into college basketball in a long, long time.
On his back, Augman gets it to Johnson. Back out to Ackles. This team's starting to have fun now. They've been having fun really throughout, but
what we have right now is, and Jim, we said at the top of the show, you know, you have a team that has a chance to become one of the great ones, but they've got to prove that along the steps of the way this year. And in my opinion, they showed against the Soviets. That was the first sign when they opened it up. I thought they really showed a sign of greatness the way they played Princeton and took them out of their very patented offense. They showed it here again today in terms of coming on a court like this one and just taking a team right out of their game plan. This club does have that potential to border on one of the great ones that's ever played.
And really the only roadblock on the way to the NCAA tournament appears to be February 25th at New Mexico State in Las Cruces. Neil McCarthy has his team.
Took them last year.
Yep, last year to the tournament, but they're back ranked again.
And the only time Jerry Tarkanian has not won the regular season outright was last year, 16-2 in his league, and then he ends up winning the national championship.
It's amazing.
Of course, tied for the championship.
With New Mexico State.
And you start talking about Tark and some of these records that have become almost mind-boggling that he's assembled as a coach, both in junior college and, of course, on the college level. I think one that will never be broken is that Long Beach and was 65-0 at home. Bad place to schedule a game.
Call a foul on Larry Johnson.
And good job. You can see Greg Anthony right away calling all his players in, saying, hey, look, we've played a great game here today. Let's go out in fine style.
All right, Master, I've got a trivia question for you. You ready for this?
Well, I'm up 1-0 today, All-Time State.
All right, okay, you lead 1-0. All right, we've loaded up the Chiron for this one also.
Yeah.
What CBS analyst, non-basketball analyst, one time played basketball under Jerry Tarkanian?
At Vegas?
No, I didn't say at Vegas. All right, I'm going to give you the list.
Nobody ever played from at Vegas. I know the answer to that.
All right, which one played for Tark? Gary McCord, our golf commentator. Jim Cottle in baseball. Irv Cross,
I know the answer
Randy
already.
Cross, or Mary Carrillo?
I know the answer already.
Okay.
The guy number one, Gary McCord. And you know what? He got kicked off the team. You know why? He was hitting 9-iron shots from half court and didn't even really realize what sport he was playing.
Oh, a block on the way up. No, they say goaltending on Ackles. I was talking to Gary last week at Pebble Beach. He said, you should have seen me dunk.
Yeah, well,
I told him that you would have dunked a little more often on the putting surface. You may have won a few times on the PGA Tour.
Now the fans who have been taken out of this game in the second half trying to bring their club back. 5:30 to go, not much chance of that.
Especially with no timeouts, Billy.
Correct. They go to their zone press, which they haven't had a chance to use today. And one of the reasons why they weren't scoring at the start of the second half and never could get in a position to set up the press.
You did say McCord was at Riverside City.
Riverside. Yep. I bet you Tark doesn't remember him.
I talked to him about it a little bit. He said, yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I'm sure he did.
Oh, that should be offensive goaltending. They tipped it in, but they'll score it.
Well, nice job by the officials just to let that one go. Johnson comes back up. Now see the difference when Johnson comes back up against the press to handle the ball as opposed to what Spencer did in the first half. He's got such great hands. And now a little delay game by UNLV, particularly to take this team and make them chase him a little bit, use up some of the clock, and salt away what has been a very well-deserved victory on their part.
Miller with the reach-around foul. Daytona 500 next Sunday on CBS. Davey Allison and Ernie Irvin will have the pole positions for the Daytona 500. Starts at 12 noon Eastern. Davey Allison qualified for the pole with a speed of over 195 miles an hour. All right, here's the former soccer goalie netting the first free throw.
Broken wrist kept him out of action last year.
That's really a shame, too. You know, you don't get to be a part of get that championship ring.
Well, he might not have two on his fingers, but this club right now is going to take an awful lot to keep one of them off his finger.
And they reach the 100-point mark.
Well, Ackles stepped out. He was looking for that pass for a pickoff, and they can afford to make some gambles here.
They hit on a hand by Augman, I believe, his second.
You know, you think about the Day and Mayberry making the national team last year. Stacey Augman and Larry Johnson, neither one went to qualify for that team. And when you take also into consideration Shaquille O'Neal did not try to qualify for that team, people wonder why don't we win the gold medal every time, even with our non-professional players. But you can imagine the team you could have assembled of guys that did not try out for the squad.
Murray returns. I think Augman was just a little burned out from summer competition. You know, he played on the Olympic team in '88.
He's the only player in college basketball now still active that was on that Olympic team.
He was the youngest member of that Olympic team. Any idea who you think will be the youngest U.S. Olympic member in '92?
In '92, it'll be a professional player. I'd say Shaquille O'Neal might have that chance. David Robinson, maybe.
All right.
Just a little game of keep away now, spreading the floor very well. And here's where Stacey Augman becomes valuable again because he can step outside.
Ackles. And he turns around and hollers in the face of Oliver Miller.
And when you take Ackles, Stacey Augman, and Larry Johnson, there are three fellas that can go to that basket and just dunk on anybody.
Miller has not had the massive presence he had in the first half.
Well, he's worn down, Jim.
Look at Anthony. That shows it right there. He just blitzed right by him all.
Well, Oliver Miller had his back turned, didn't even realize he's coming. He's exhausted now.
This was a team, an Arkansas team, which led 50-46 at halftime. And a three by Day.
Uh-oh. Day and Augman. Now, here's the problem. He will be out of the game here.
And long-term ramifications.
And here's where Tark has got to go to the bench. Augman is going to be out of this game.
They've been jawing throughout the day.
Yeah,
and they're sitting him down now.
Yeah, he's got to be out. Now, I think that Jerry Tarkanian ought to clear his bench. His fellas right now are getting in a jawing conversation. I mean,
with the fighting rule this year, yeah. Billy, you've got to be so
no
careful.
Question, because we have had two incidents this year in which players have been suspended for fighting. Now, what dictates a fight? The officials were very lenient on that particular play because there's no question that Stacey Augman threw the forearm shiver right in Todd Day's face. I'm surprised. They're talking to each other. There it is. Now, that certainly could have been cause for a suspension.
All they called was an intentional foul. And talk about the fighting rule now in college basketball, Billy.
Well, the big change, and it certainly has had an effect on the college game, is that this year, the first time you're involved in a fight, it's a suspension. The second one, you're banned for the year.
Suspended for 1 game.
Exactly.
But Augmon did not get called for the fighting call in this game. They just ruled it an intentional foul. Hunt drives to the point. Miller has it taken out of his hands. He is worn out.
Well, there was a lot of jawing early on in the ball game right now. And Stacey Augmon and Day, of course, it's a great challenge. As Tark said before the show, he thinks they're the best defensive and offensive forwards in the country. There's Oliver Miller, and again, that shows the sign of fatigue, which makes cowards of us all, and that's what's happened here in the second half. And Tark still reluctant to go to the bench.
Well, the lead's at 14 with 3 minutes remaining, and he wants a timeout.
And you notice what he did right there. He asked his club, and he's talking to Greg Anthony specifically, are you fellas okay? Are you going to keep your temperament? Otherwise, he was going to call a timeout and talk to him himself. The winningest percentage coach in college basketball history. And you know, Jim, as a member of the Basketball Hall of Fame board, I'm embarrassed to say that he has never been nominated for the Basketball Hall of Fame. That's something that's got to change.
You had some new candidates inducted this week.
Congratulations to all of them. Of course, on the college level, Bob Knight will be going in.
Larry O'Brien, the late Larry O'Brien, was also voted in.
Just spreading it. Arkansas chasing them man-to-man. Park trying to use the clock.
In out for Augmon. Yep.
He's amazing how he can meet those shots in.
You don't think he's able to get them off the shot. Day takes the 3. Could have cut it to 10. And Johnson.
Now, there's what I was talking about.
This time, Day connected with the official.
Now see, you've got 2 great players in trouble of being chance of being suspended. The referees are being very lenient here. Both of them should come out of the game. If you're a coach, you cannot afford to have a player the likes of Day and Larry Johnson being suspended from the game.
And Johnson said, I'm going to see you after the game.
Now that's unnecessary. There was a lot on the line for both of these teams. They'll probably see each other again. There's a good chance of that. Now, you know, a punch is a punch. It does not have to connect to be considered a fight.
Now objects being thrown onto the floor. And watch Day on the tail end of this.
Well,
a little mismatch in the weight department. Watch him connect here, Billy.
A punch is a punch. You do not have to connect. As a matter of fact, on this rule, and it depends on the judgment of a referee, but on this rule, you could even consider a fight being a verbal. And there's Jody Sylvester took a piece, kind of like in the fight last night when the official took a piece of
Sugar Ray hit him at the end of the round.
But really, I think now you're up by 13, 2:27 to go. It's time to clear the bench because you don't want to see a great attraction like this marred by guys who had so much going today, so much emotion, and now they're letting it get away from them.
I think all the players are going to come out of this game healthy, but 2 of the officials may be out of action for a while.
Now, Tarkanian is talking now. We could have a situation where the officials may be talking about a suspension situation. Nolan Richardson wisely comes down with Tarkanian to talk about it.
Billy, when this was taking place at the opposite end of the court, UNLV bench started to jump up, and I was watching Tarkanian. He immediately got to his feet and said, stop right here.
That's automatic, and that's one of the things the rule has done well also, Jim, is the fact that it has really cleared up bench decorum in these altercation situations.
Mentioned the UNLV coaching staff. Keith Starr in the background, longtime aide to UNLV also.
There's the 2 coaches, both played college basketball themselves. We see that Day and Johnson have been ejected. Now what we have to find out
is that for fighting?
Is it for fighting?
Because they'll miss their next game if that's the case. Leslie Visser has a report on that. Leslie?
Down down on the other end, Jerry Tarkanian, the entire team is surrounding Johnson. He doesn't really seem upset. He thinks it just got away from him a little bit. He's actually laughing there, of course, thrilled with the blowout, and he kind of is shrugging his shoulders. Back to you.
Well, word we have, it was a personal foul on Day, and Day and Johnson were ejected.
Now, Larry Johnson, talking official, now explaining his side of the story, but that's not going to work. Now, the key here, Jim, is if the ejection is going to be considered for fighting, you'll see right there is a foul. There's no question about it. Now, when Day came across with that punch, I mean, that has got to be called a fight.
Yeah, you certainly haven't thrown him out of the game for just a verbal altercation.
Exactly. It was much more than what would be an intentional foul. Now, the problem with that is, and as we pointed out in the rule, one fight suspended for a game, second fight suspended for the year. Really puts a lot of pressure on somebody to watch themselves if they get in that situation.
Travis Bice in for the first time, shooting the technical free throws. They called technicals also on Day and Johnson. That went with the ejection.
Well, Wayne Womack from Arizona suspended for a game and fight with Cal's Ryan Drew. So,
all right, Bice shot the personal fouls against the free throws against Day. Now this is the technical. We'll have one more.
Travis Bice didn't see any action until he got an opportunity to go out there and shoot some free throws. So very cold sitting on that bench. Wasn't too successful.
A technical foul shots.
Now Hurry will go to the other end of the line to shoot the technicals for Arkansas.
I've just spoken with Bill Rogers from the Sports Information Department at Arkansas. He talked to Bob Donato, one of the officials, and Donato has told him the players were not ejected for fighting. They were ejected for unsportsmanlike
play. A very lenient call on the part of the officials. And I like the suggestion by Fred Barakat earlier in the year when I went to the officials meeting, and he said that that ejection for fighting should be interpreted after watching films by supervisors of officials. And because of the severity of the penalty, unless it's so obvious, I think that'd be a pretty good idea. So the referees were lenient in this particular case.
They will not miss the next game and have that hanging over them the rest of the year. That one more fight and they're out for the season. Kicked out for unsportsmanlike play. Final 2 minutes here at Fayetteville. Everett Gray has come in for UNLV. And that's information now confirmed by the Arkansas coaches on the bench. Flanks us here. Foul called on Oliver Miller, number 4 against the Big O. And we'll set the lineup while we can on CBS tonight. Of course, it starts with 60 Minutes, followed by Murder, She Wrote, and the CBS Sunday movie, Lucy and Desi Before the Laughter. Well, there was a lot of laughter, I think, going on throughout this game, but it's turned ugly in the end. And a lot of emotions that will carry into the tournament as these two could be on another collision course. It'll be interesting to see. Everyone, of course, figures the West 1 seed will go to UNLV. Where will they place Arkansas, however, because Midwest plays West in the national semifinals. Would they send them to Southeast or East to maybe have them not meet until the finals? I would think so.
2-3 zone. Vegas played man-to-man the second half. It was so effective for them. First time they've gone back into their zone just to try to occupy a little clock on the defensive end as well.
22 now for Oliver Miller.
Good smart play by Stacey Augmon. No sense challenging Miller there.
What do you think the long-term hurt will be for Arkansas? Will this carry on with them the rest of the season?
No, I really don't think so, Jim. It's a very young team. They understand in the game the other night against Houston they showed so well. Their first goal has got to be to win the conference, which they are in the driver's seat right now.
Fury fouls Greg Anthony.
And I'll tell you another theory I don't believe in, and that's the theory that the third time you play a team that you've beaten twice, is more difficult to beat. I really feel that once you establish your superiority, as these young men did here today, to me, the guy's always looking around the corner for when is that run going to come again. I mean, could you imagine if the Duke team, as an example, were to face UNLV? Don't tell me that the loss would favor Duke. They'd have to remember that second half pounding they received in Denver last year.
Totaled a 30-point win in Denver. Strangely enough, UNLV had 3 wins in the tournament last year by that identical mark of 30 points. They have a 30-game win streak. Barry Tarkanian's 30th year as a coach. So 30-something is something special here. The dunk by Mayberry, final 40 seconds.
Well, you remember the closest that they have come to being beat since that UC Santa Barbara loss was Ball State.
Ball State had the ball, had a chance to beat them.
Harris McCurdy slipped trying to go around the corner. Not to say he would have made the shot, but that's the closest anybody came.
Billy, we've got to say thanks to our group here. The coordinating producer of NCAA basketball is Bob Dekas, and today's game directed by Robert A. Fishman. The Prudential at the half, produced by Rob Silverstein. And the executive producer of CBS Sports is Ted Shaker.
Just too many weapons here today. A stronger team physically. Stacy still over there talking to the bench a little bit. A lot of pride in this club.
You know, they say they do not discuss the fact that they have a chance to make history. They never talk about it, they say, but you know they're certainly aware of it.
Well, I believe
and they won.
One of the reasons for that is that their coach doesn't get hung up in all that type of conversation. I believe Jerry, when he really says it, that he never discusses winning even a given game. The object under his teams and his tutelage throughout his career as a junior college coach and Division I coach is to play as hard as you can, doing the fundamental things that you do in practice every day. And if you do that, then in effect you've been successful.
You know, Coach Wooden used to always have the same philosophy. Never talked about winning before a game. Got to go out and win, guys. He would never say that. Just play to the best of your ability.
You know, I talked to him yesterday after watching the 2 practices, and I said, Jerry, today was one of the few days that I have watched your team practice when the opponent had more intensity than you had. And he was very disappointed with yesterday's practice, said his team was both flat and a little bit tired. They sure didn't come out here today this way in the second half. That is a downtown bomb and nothing there.
That was from Mayberry country.
It was. That was a 32-footer. And we know one fellow that can make those, Tracy Murray, but I don't know if there are many more in the country that can hit them.
Tracy Murray last week of UCLA was putting up, what would you say, 25, 28-footers?
Without question, and easy. There's Nolan Richardson, an outstanding player himself. Averaged a little over 14 a game.
Played a little bit of professional football also, Nolan did. He played for the San Diego Chargers for a year.
It was interesting. He thought he was a big scorer in college till Don Haskins showed up and said, fella, I've watched you play. You can't guard a telephone pole. Let's get you refocused there.
The Bear got him stressing defense. Murray jumper connects, and it's a 10-point difference.
And Miller would have been better off letting that one go.
Final 5 seconds. Well, this team, Billy, is it a dynasty in the desert?
Well, this team has proven today certainly that they're ready to go to the very next level and take on all challenges. Without question, it's everybody in the country against these fellas.
They continue on their march toward the tournament, the chance to join UCLA with back-to-back championships. First time since.